Welcome to Know Your Universe, the series right here at Comicstorian, where we just try to explain superheroes and characters and concepts within your favorite comic books, TV shows, and movies. With Spider-Gwen finally being introduced to a larger audience thanks to the Into the Spider-Verse movie, hey, it's time for us to explain a little bit more about her, even though we've been running a series here for a little while about her adventures. Now, created by Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez in 2014, Spider-Gwen first appeared in The Edge of the Spider-Verse in number 2. Residing on Earth 65, Spider-Gwen was a member of the Spider Army, fighting against the Inheritors. With an interesting alternate reality and a badass costume, the character proved so popular that Marvel quickly announced that she would be receiving her own series that would explore her life on Earth 65. Raised by her police captain father, George Stacy, after her mother's death, Gwen grew up as a slightly introverted child. Of course, she had friends like her shy neighbor, Peter Parker, and her bandmates in the Mary Janes. Like the 616 Spider-Man, Gwen gained her powers when she was bitten by a radioactive spider while on a class trip. Also, like 616 Peter Parker, Gwen spent the beginning of her career trying to figure out how to make money off of her newfound powers. She adopted the persona of Spider-Woman. Not Spider-Gwen as the title of the comic would have you believe, although obviously you can't use your real name. Look at Spider-Benny! I wonder who it is! Unlike the Earth 616 Peter, she's not an amateur inventor, and her original costume and web shooters were given to her by the former crime fighter Janet Van Dyne. It would be words from her father that would make Gwen actually want to start crime fighting as a career. Overhearing Captain Stacy talking about how Spider-Woman could do so much good with her powers made her realize that her father was right, and she was wasting her gifts. She would stop trying to use her abilities for selfish reasons, and for a brief time she was the hero of New York. Unfortunately, her celebrity status was not to last. Her friend Peter Parker idolized Spider-Woman and wanted to become special like her. After experimenting on himself, he transformed into the Lizard and began to terrorize the senior prom at Midtown High, Gwen Stacy's school. Swinging into action, Gwen Stacy was forced to fight her friend, finally defeating him. Badly injured, he reverted to his human form, and the strain from the transformation combined with his injuries from the fight, well, they were just too much for Peter, and he died in Gwen's arms. As always happens, our hero is blamed for the unexplained death of Peter Parker and becomes a wanted criminal. Even though Gwen stepped up on her crime fighting to try and prove that she was a good guy, the NYPD put together a task force that would bring her in. Her new criminal status got the attention of Matt Murdock, leader of the Hand and a corrupt lawyer who works for the Kingpin. Wanting to bring her into the organization, he sent assassins in to kill the head of the NYPD's task force, Captain George Stacy, in an effort to make her their ally. Gwen managed to defeat the assassins, but in the process was captured by her own father, and at gunpoint, Gwen had no choice but to reveal her identity to her father. Trusting his daughter, Captain Stacy let her go. Gwen would at this point take part in the war against the Inheritors during the Spider-Verse event and would be key in the final battle. Afterwards, she would return once more to Earth 65, where her life would continue as normal. Now back in her own reality, Gwen tried hard to change the public's perception of Spider-Woman. Yet her vigilante lifestyle put a strain on her friendships and obligations to the band, the Mary Janes. She also had to deal with Frank Castle, a tough new detective who would become the head of the Spider-Woman task force in the NYPD. Matt Murdock, who had become the new Kingpin, was also key on trying to bring her into the Hand, and he had sent Vulture to discover her identity. Luckily, the multiverse was destroyed in the Secret Wars event, and you don't have to deal with social problems when everything in the known universe has blown up. Waking up in Battleworld, Gwen teamed up with various Spider people from different multiverses that we met in the Spider-Verse event in an attempt to stop Norman Osborn from gaining control of the Web of Life and Destiny. Following this success and the restoration of the multiverse, Gwen joined the Web Warriors in defending the different universes that had lost their Spider-Person. Once again back on Earth 65 though, Gwen now has to deal with a part-time job in the arrival of new lizard people. Briefly teaming up with Earth 65 Captain America, and by team up I mean being arrested, Gwen would then discover that the new group of lizard people was being led by Dr. Kurt Connors, and is actually a S.H.I.E.L.D. asset that uses Peter Parker's old lizard technology. Gwen would then deal with the return of her friend Harry Osborn, who went missing after Peter Parker's death. Harry also blames Spider-Woman for the death of his friend Peter and has spent 2 years training to defeat her. Using an improved version of the lizard formula and Green Goblin-like combat armor, Harry manages to defeat Gwen and unmask her. The shocking realization of her identity causes Harry to lose control, and he fully transforms into the Lizard. Gwen manages to defeat the new Goblin Lizard and eventually returns Harry to his normal form. Being ever so busy, Gwen would then team up with the Earth 616 Spider-Woman and Silk to stop the Cindy Moon of Earth 65. Now, Cindy Moon on 616 is Silk, but Cindy Moon on Earth 65 is actually the leader of a terrorist organization and the creator of the spiders that gave Gwen her powers. Go figure, right? Anyway, Cindy Moon, who we're going to refer to as the evil one right now, uses this science mumbo-jumbo to take away Gwen's powers and beat the crap out of her. Luckily, Gwen is given 8 radioactive pills that will temporarily return her powers for a short period. Once again, returning to Earth 65, Gwen must deal with both the Punisher and Kraven the Hunter, who are trying to kill her while she wrestles with the destruction that she has caused as Spider-Woman and how it ruined both her and her father's lives. Of course, Gwen doesn't have the level of power that she used to have and is helpless to fight the Punisher in a weakened state. In the end, to keep her safe, her father turns himself in for helping Spider-Woman, hoping that he will clear her name with his testimony. As if a devil on her shoulder, though, Matt Murdock once again appears in her life, revealing that he knows about her depowering and is offering her a limitless supply of pills if she joins the hand and works for him. There's a brief interlude where Miles shows up in Earth 65 to look for his missing father, and while teaming up, they discover that there's a world where Gwen and Miles got married. They have kids, and they started a family super team. This causes teenage Gwen and Miles to start a brief relationship that lasts for a few panels. But back in our regularly scheduled comic, Gwen's life is out of control. Her father's in prison and she barely has any powers and now sort of kinda works for the hand. Meeting Matt Murdock at Oscorp, he reveals that there's a way to restore her powers. By mixing the lizard formula with the alien spider parasites that Cindy Moon created that gave Gwen her powers, it should cure her. Traveling to Madripoor, Gwen fights and teams up with Logan and Shadowcat, 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. bounty hunters that fight Harry. Harry then turns into the lizard, Gwen uses her radioactive pills which mix with his blood and creates Earth 65 Venom. Discovering that her father has now been beaten into a coma by Murdock's men, Gwen gives into the rage of the Venom symbiote and proceeds to hunt down anyone who had anything to do with hurting her father. Eventually, she confronts Murdock on a roof where she stops the Punisher from killing him, but the rage consumes her again and she almost kills him herself. When he then reveals, because he loves his reveals, that he was testing to see if she could be corrupted. Before anything could happen, though, she's sucked into another multiverse where she meets Gwen 617. It's there that she learns to let go of her anger and control the Venom symbiote. Returning back home again, she reveals her secret identity to her friends and bandmates. She then turns herself in, realizing that Spider-Woman needed to stand trial for the destruction that she caused, even if she was trying to do the right thing. Sentenced to 1 year in maximum security S.H.I.E.L.D. prison, she declines joining a S.H.I.E.L.D. Black Ops team to get out of her sentence, deciding that doing her time was the right thing. Upon her release, Gwen is reunited with the Mary Janes, who immediately showed their support by suggesting a band tour so that Gwen could help other cities throughout the country. Her father had come out of his coma, and the two were finally reunited. And the former Captain Stacy told her that no matter what, he would always have her back. And as a fire truck sped past, Spider-Woman swung into action once again. Now, her story doesn't end there, but that does end the original run of Spider-Woman, aka Spider-Gwen, aka the woman who is now becoming known as Ghost Spider. See, she became so popular that they needed to come up with a different name for her because we have Spider-Woman all over the place. And you can't just have Spider-Woman as Jessica Drew and Spider-Woman as the other ones that all exist in 616 that I can't seem to think of right now. And you can't just also have Spider-Gwen be Spider-Woman. So they're trying to slowly change her name to Ghost Spider, and they're doing it in the comic book. Now, with Spider-Geddon going on right now and Into the Spider-Verse happening in the movie theater, Spider-Gwen has a new book, Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider, in which she is continuing her multiverse travels and meeting new Peter Parkers and new Gwen Stacy's. It's a lot of fun, and I've always been a fan of this character in general. I hope you guys enjoyed our Know Your Universe for Spider-Gwen, and if you did, please consider subscribing to our channel. But this video is here as a way to kind of like take advantage of the Spider-Verse movie, and we also got to go and conduct an interview with the actors and actresses of the Spider-Verse movie. One of the members of our team, Dan, got to go and do this, so we're gonna throw in a clip right now of Dan interviewing the woman who played Miles Morales' mother. Hope you guys enjoy.
So before I start, I wanted to know what your history with comic books before coming into this movie was.
My history was very limited. My brother read a lot of comic books, actually, but for some reason, X-Men was the one that stood out the most to me. So this is all like a really crazy, pleasant, incredible surprise because I'm getting to know so much about Spider-Man, about the Spider-Man legacy, and I feel like this is the best way to learn everything. You know, it's sort of like talk about jumping in feet first.
Were you surprised with how many different spider people there were? Because this is even just the tip of the iceberg.
It's the tip. I was surprised. I was exhilarated. I was excited. I mean, it really is a wonderful part of the story that anyone can wear the mask, and that superhero lives within all of us. I love that component of the story.
So before this, you have done things like Dexter and shows like that. What was it like coming from that kind of background into an animated Spider-Man movie?
Overall, it's just so nice to work and be happy and not worry about a serial killer or trying to find one or anything like that. There's, from the beginning, this just felt really good. And it felt like it was growing. I was growing with it, and it was all happening sort of simultaneously. It's been a really fantastic journey in that way, and I love this character of Rio Morales. She's tough, man. She's tough. She's cool. She's compassionate. She's earthy, and has a great family, a super cool son, Miles Morales. So it's great.
So what kind of preparation did you do to kind of get in the mindset of the role?
Well, I thought about my mom a lot because that scene in the beginning of the film, it was, pretty much growing up in my house. I'm one of 8, and my dad was a cop, so all of that really resonated with me. So I thought about my mom a lot, drinking her café con leche in the morning, just making sure that we all got our day started right,
And so now that you have played the mother of a superhero in a movie, if you were to have a child
Not just of a superhero, Spider-Man's mother.
Exactly.
This is amazing.
Do you think you could do that in real life?
Play the mother of a superhero?
Be the mother of a superhero.
I am the mother of a superhero. I have a stepdaughter named Ellie, and she's pretty much a superhero.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's got incredible powers of drawing and writing, and so I got that. Done.
So you had a lot of life experiences before this that really helped you get into the role of the character.
Yes, for sure.
So what is your favorite scene from the movie?
My favorite scene of the movie, one of my favorites, because I really do have so many, but it's when she's kissing Miles, Rio's kissing Miles goodbye, and she won't let him go as he's going off to school. Here she is, just the mom, hurry up, we gotta go, we're gonna get ready, and he's saying, in a minute. And then she just doesn't want to let him go. And I love it because it's not just that he's going to school, but these moments become so precious when a kid is that age. They start growing up that quickly. And it's just like, give me a second, just let me hold on to this for a second longer, because you're gonna be a grown man really soon. So yeah, that's one of my favorites.